Hey, have you Gen Zers and Gen Alphers seen the newest batch of the newest, hottest upcoming boomer shooters? Well, I have, and who am I kidding? Hey, all my silent and greatest generation Western Slavic boomer shooter fans, want to check out 5 upcoming boomer shooters I found and played on Steam that might help you forget that the next Turok game will be a co-op game? In third person? Well, I played 5 upcoming boomer shooter demos for an hour each, or till completion, or most likely frustration. To see which of these 5 games should be wishlisted, and which of these 5 was the most boomer shooter of the bunch. What's my definition of being a boomer shooter? Well, think of 2 circles. One is Duke Nukem 3D, and the other is Quake. Or Quake 2 if you need to be a dick about it. As long as you're in the radius of the circle somewhere inside or just slightly touching the edges, I'll call you a boomer shooter, and considering the amount of games that throw this tag around like it's the only way the game will get any eyes on it, looking at you survival horror games, stop putting this tag on your Steam page. You know who you are. But if people can call Hard Reset a boomer shooter, well then fuck you. I'll make exceptions for these games to be considered boomer shooters too, because I'm not a gatekeeping prick doing this just for the ad revenue and clicks, because this is something I truly don't have any love for, and I'm a representation of the presentation I never truly believed in. I go by a 10-point rating scale. 3 points are dedicated to gameplay, 1 point for the controls, a point for how the guns feel and operate, and another point for innovation in terms of gameplay. 3 points are dedicated to the music and graphics. As long as one is truly exceptional, it can get 2 points. Another 3 points is dedicated to level exploration, as in hidden secrets, early weapons, hidden levels, Easter eggs, and multiple ways to approach the map. Level variety is worth a point, and ambiance, or the overall tone of the game, and if it effectively pulls it off, is another point. And the last point is the holy point, which is earned when a game truly has a god-tier shotgun. Think the Doom 2 Super Shotgun, or the Fear Volmer VK12. But now that we know the rating scale, let's see the menu. As one does, as one would normally do, I find most of my demos through luck, because Steam doesn't exactly make it easy to find newly released demos. It's a whole lot of tags and bullshit, and eventually you find some gems, and some turds. And some Tommy-wise O's. Luckily, Fulcrum Publishing did the biannual, half-year annual Steam Next Fest BoomerCon. Or they just called it Boomstock. You get it? Like Woodstock? No, not the crowd-surfing Gropefest one. The one where people forgot they were sleeping under tour buses one? Yeah, that's the one. Steam Next Fest has its own A24. It's the art house genre that no matter how questionable and odd it may be, it's still art, and you just don't get it, man. Though Love Lies Bleeding was my favorite movie of 2024, and no, I wasn't the one guy who got caught off in the movie theater to, those scenes. Even though the guy lives in the same state as me, luckily different cities. He lives in the one named after the sauce you can't pronounce correctly, so I won't do it for you. Though the TV made me glow, can get polio after giving me anxiety-induced asthma, and someone loses the vaccine, hopefully. Before Fulcrum did the Steam Next Fest Boomer Shooter Showcase honors, it was Realms Deep, which was a tandem of 3D Realms makers of Commander Keen and Blake Stone, and their owners, the Embracer Group, who have single-handedly saved every franchise you loved and cared about. Fulcrum was an interesting publisher to choose to host the honors because it's not like they have a perfect track record. Sure, they published Viscera Fest, Diluvian Ultra, Hyperviolent, and Dread Templar, all excellent games, as well as the Forgive Me Father series, if you're into that kind of thing. And would you look at that, Fulcrum and 3D Realms both published one of my favorite games, Wrath, and Graven. Point is, Gabe Newell gave Fulcrum the keys, and I found Captain Wayne Vacation Desperation about halfway through the recommended demos on Boomstock. But enough about A24 movies, because much like boomer shooters recommended to you on Steam, they're all winners. They're all fun and enjoyable experiences. Captain Wayne Vacation Desperation is a boomer shooter made by a small 8-man development team known as Syrian Games LLC, who is also publishing the game as well. Oh, the developers use pronouns? Pronouns in the year 2025? Hashtag cancel Captain Wayne vacation desperation. Hashtag GZDOOM is woke as fuck. Oh, and speaking of GZDOOM, that's the engine this game is using, and honestly, if you use this engine, I'm most likely gonna get real hyped for your game, mostly because of the track record of great games using this engine. GZDOOM is putting up those Tony Gwynn, and for all my Eastern Slavic greatest generation boomer shooter fans, Ted Williams batting average. The introduction to this game I need to point out. Not only does this cinematic give you a quick idea of the scope of the levels in this game, but much like the game under the engine's namesake, we get to know right off the bat that the AI will infight, which is always something you love to see. Load into the game, and it's already got those build engine Duke Nukem 3D feels. You start on the roof of a building and break into a vent that leads you into a bathroom, and holy shit, look at those reflections in the bathroom mirror. You want to get on my good side? Have reflections on your bathroom mirrors, and you're in my good graces for nostalgia alone. Before you can admire the sexy as fuck Captain Wayne in the men's bathroom, you're interrupted by a bunch of pissed off seamen who come at you from behind in the bathroom stalls. Were they taking shits and just heard you crashing from the roof to the bathroom, or were they waiting for you this whole time? Much like Scarlett Johansson in that black goo pool and Under the Skin? We may never know. Now, it may pique your interest to know that all of your guns operate through your robot hand, which can operate as a machine gun, shotgun, and a cannon launcher. Why a robot arm on a pirate? I have no idea, but it's fucking cool, and if anyone needed a modernized steampunk aesthetic, it would probably be Captain Hook. The melee is what you start with in your first feel for the game, dropping into the bathroom. Melee feels fine, and it works, but after we get the shotgun attachment, the melee is pretty much something I never use until I have to use it against one specific enemy type. More on that later. After leaving the bathroom, you get to test your shotgun attachment, and it feels great. Honestly, so do the controls. I'm not going to get too in-depth on how this game controls outside of perfectly. This game needs a deathmatch multiplayer added once it releases because it feels that smooth. So let's give 1 point for controls. It's more Doom 2 than Quake in terms of the feels, but are you really going to complain about that? Back to the shotgun. It's fucking awesome. Feedback is great, the animation of each shot you fire is wonderful, it sounds awesome. Reloading looks fantastic, so yeah, let's bestow the holy point of true excellence in the form of a shotgun to Captain Wayne. I should bring up that this skirmish in this pizzeria is one of 2 sequences in this game that will tell you if it gels with you or not, because this game is hard as balls. Old school style too, as in no checkpoints, just good old F6 save files, and trust me, you'll want to use them. Think of them as Grandpa's version of checkpoints. If you do manage to get past this part, you get Molotovs, which are wonderful and act like a grenade Molotov hybrid. And you get a machine gun attachment, which operates as a Gatling gun of sorts, and it is wonderful. Enemy variety is varied in this game. You got your Doom shotgun guy, you got these scuba divers who lob Molotovs at you, boxers who can only be beaten with melee, so this game is showing its love for Doom Eternal. You got this sackhead who charges at you relentlessly, so I guess this game's Pinky? Either way, I almost never beat this demo because of this asshole till I realized his weakness was Molotovs. The welder is a big hulking bastard who fires cannons at you, and is a complete bullet sponge. So this game's Baron of Hell, or Mancubus, I guess? This game also has its own pain elemental in the form of whatever the fuck this thing is. Each enemy requires its own tactics, has its own unique AI, and animations, and I can't speak honestly enough to how fun it is shooting my shot at all these decrepit, downtrodden seamen.
Smell like jism, like rotten dick, like curdled foreskin.
Sound design feels like it belongs on a 90s UPN Saturday morning cartoon. Written and composed by Captain Beefheart, and it's awesome. So music gets a point. Graphics are expressive in this game, and while character animation, gun animations, as already discussed, look great, it's also the set pieces, giving off more Duke Nukem vibes, but the sense of destruction is impressive. So graphics gets 2 of the 3 points. Level variety, even if this demo technically only features 1 level, is extremely varied as well. Whether the pizza diner, the storage garage, the downtown city block, a sewer that lets you test out this game's cannon, which operates like the Serious Sam SBC cannon, which I guess is not a cannon. But unlike the Serious Sam cannonball that rolls through a straight line of enemies you hoped lined up like lemmings, the Captain's cannon operates more like a grenade launcher, and it's pretty sweet. The Hotel Pool Lounge is another area that is well designed and has one of its best arena shooter moments of the game. These levels can be explored and approached freely in a semi-linear way, so I will give a point for level variety, but can't give the point for level exploration on the stance that I didn't find any secrets or Easter eggs. This game has character, it's goofy and violent, and I think that detail alone gives this game a point in ambiance. It just has endless charm, so that leaves points for how the guns feel, and or operate, and what does this game truly innovate in. As far as the guns, chef's kiss. Not a single weapon do I have a recommendation in fixing or operating. They are all perfect, so gun feels gets a point. And as far as innovation goes, well, I'd be lying if I said this game does anything you've never seen before outside of being an extremely well-polished boomer shooter, so I can't give it a point in innovation. But let's score this bad boy and see if I believe you should be on the watch for Captain Wayne and if you should wishlist its vacation Desperation. Controls and gun feels both get points. Music I gave 1 point and the graphics I gave the remaining 2 points, but you could honestly switch those two around because they are both done so exceptionally well. Level variety and ambiance I gave a point to each, as well as the holy point for achieving the god tier shotgun. So let's add it all up, and Captain Wayne Vacation Desperation's demo gets an 8 out of 10, and earns the BoomShoot Ken Medal of BoomShoot honor, and I highly recommend you wishlist this game and hopefully it comes out in 2025.
Ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba.